Hey everybody, it's Safi and Marco Dish Out on Movies, the only movie review show on YouTube to review movies in terms of food. And it's just Marco here. I was planning on helping Safi shoot her top 10 worst movies of 2021 video today, but she's making me give her another day of extension, so I guess I have to shoot my top 10 best video of 2021, and it was hard. It was very hard. Looking back, all the movies are fucking mediocre as hell, and it was so hard to rank them. They're all so interchangeable because they're not, none of them are above, only one of them is like above a 90%. All of them are up to 80. And that indicates a lack of quality. It indicates that last year, it was not a good year for movies. And there was just a general lack of effort. A lot of the movies, even on this top 10 list, they have these fundamental flaws that they would have been so easy to fix. And the fact that they just got released and people will say like, oh yeah, that one's really good. It's like, it just shows that people, they really overrate movies nowadays. And I guess I don't blame them because you work with what you got. You know, when certain movies came out, I gave them extremely high ratings even though they didn't deserve them. So anyways, I have 4 honorable mentions. My first one is No Man of God. This is another unnecessary Ted Bundy movie. It's pretty pointless, to say the least. It's just a series of interviews between this one guy and Ted Bundy, but the thing is that the guy who plays Ted Bundy gives the best performance of the year, I would say. The best male performance of the year. He did a fantastic job. He brought depth, dimension to the character, and he was really good. And then my next honorable mention is Pig. This is a movie that I originally had in my top 10, but I moved it out because it has a couple of issues in terms of the pacing. The movie starts off very silent, and it's silent until like half of the movie is over. And then all of a sudden characters start talking a little bit, and apparently Nicolas Cage has trouble with line memorization. Well, too bad. Okay, the movie, it's pretty good. It's got a lot of great stuff about it. There's some great dialogue, some great character scenes. You really feel for Nicolas Cage's character. There's a lot of depth and emotion to the film, and in general, it was a very memorable film. I found myself remembering this movie over like almost all of them, and so that shows that it was actually pretty good. Okay, I'm gonna sit down. Sorry. I want to sit down to do this fucking video. These list videos are a pain. My next honorable mention is Being the Ricardos. This is a movie where you know exactly what you're gonna get. It's a Hollywoodized Lucy and Ricky movie, and it's all about, you know, it's the biopic of Lucy, and it takes place within 1 week. And I'll say that I really liked that idea of just having it be 1 week to show the process of an I Love Lucy episode being created. And it's really enjoyable even though it's trash. Like obviously the casting for this movie is abysmal. I mean, Nicole Kidman is not Lucy, and Javier Bardem is not Desi Arnaz. Regardless, the movie is still pretty entertaining, and it does have some emotion at the end as well. And yeah, I think that I was too harsh with it in my review because I did have a good time watching it, and I would watch it again, which I'm surprised to say. It's like kind of like a guilty pleasure, the guilty pleasure of last year. My number now this is my top 10. I'd like to first start off and say all of these movies come with a caveat because I ranked these movies originally and I just thought, ugh, this is a terrible list. And there were so many questions of like, oh, should I put that up there? Should I take that out? So what I did was something that I did like 2 years ago, which is I made a template of elements of a movie: script, character, ending, sexuality, originality, stuff like that. And I rated each movie on this whole fucking list out of 10. And then I ranked them based on that, and then I added my own preference to like extra, like if something didn't look right, I would change it. And so, oh, wait a second. Oh, I still have one honorable mention left. Sorry. My last honorable mention is Super Dumbasses, my movie. That's probably why I forgot about it because it feels kind of biased. Originally I had this movie at number 4, but the movie has some very fundamental flaws that I can't overlook. And it's unfortunate because it's more original than, I would say, 70% of the movies on the top 10. But because it has those fundamental flaws, I just don't feel good putting it there. Still, it's a great comedy. It's kind of awkward at points. It was all improv the entire fucking movie. So I'll say that, if you compare this movie to My Son with James McAvoy, this movie is a million times fucking better than that one, because the whole movie is improv. And I think that there are a lot of great jokes in it. Like I can remember the whole movie practically because I was there in it, but it really, I don't know, it's just too bad that it couldn't have had a story. It didn't really have a story, and the ending was terrible, and there were a couple other issues too. But if you just take the issues out and enjoy the movie, it's got a lot of great comedy in it. It's got a lot of great unexpected comedy from interactions and things because I didn't know what was going to happen. It was all like just winging it the whole movie. But yeah, it's too bad, and but still, I still gotta say I would love to rewatch this again, and I would also say that if this movie had a story, then it probably would have been number 1. I mean that's not, maybe that sounds biased. I don't care. Like if you look at the movies that they made last year, there's so many of them that just feel like they're copying from other things, and I feel at least good. I feel good that mine was not copying people, just walking around, hanging out all the time. I couldn't copy anyone basically. So yeah, I like that movie. I think that it's good. It's sad that it can't get in the top 10, and but it just, yeah, I guess. It's too bad though. It's still, I would highly recommend Super Dumbasses. It's on YouTube for free, and it's funny as fuck. And yeah. Number 10 is Nobody, starring Bob Odenkirk. This movie does not deserve to be over Super Dumbasses, I can tell you that. But the thing is that it's got a good ending. Super Dumbasses doesn't, and it's also got a story, which Super Dumbasses doesn't. So, but this movie, I really liked it. I enjoyed it for what it was. It was it had a good idea. I liked the idea that Bob Odenkirk, he came up with, what if this guy got his house invaded, and then it turned out he was this badass who gave up that life and then the movie takes him through a journey of coming back to it and becoming a badass again. And the fact that everyone underestimates him, it's pretty cool. The issue that I have with it though is that the movie is very rushed. It feels like the introduction to a movie, or it feels like the trailer to a movie rather than a full story. The villain is very bland and forgettable. The story with him is like stupid. And then there's lots of action sequences toward the end that just kind of go by really quickly. And I thought that that was trash because the best action sequence in this movie is the one that happens near the beginning, where he's on the bus and he fights people hand to hand. That was the best action sequence, and that happens before the movie even gets halfway through. But still, it's a good movie. Bob Odenkirk is really good in it. And yeah, I would recommend it. Number 9 is The Card Counter. This is another one I gave a bad review. Here's the thing. When I look back, because this is the thing, you never know. When you review a movie, you never know how you're going to look back and see how it aged months and months away, or how it's going to age to you. And for me, the Card Counter, it's one of the movies from the year that I'd love to rewatch again. It's basically a ripoff of Taxi Driver. It's got a great performance by Oscar Isaac. It's entertaining. It's got great music. It's got some good ideas in it. I love the way the movie looks, like the cinematography. It had a 70s look to it in a way that no other movie really has had in a while. But yeah, it's still flawed. The ending, I fucking hate the ending to this movie. And there are a couple other things, but regardless, I would still say that this movie is pretty good. It's not better than Super Dumbasses, though, that's for damn sure. Now I'm starting to regret making this video because, see, when you talk things out, too, you really realize that things should have... And speaking of another mistake, number 8 is Belfast. See, now I want to reshoot this whole video because, like, Belfast, these movies don't deserve to be in the top 10. See, this is the problem. The movies from last year were so mediocre. I would have had this problem no matter what. The movies are so interchangeable and they're so bland and forgettable. Like, but just saying it out loud. Number 8 is Belfast. I want to throw up. Ugh. Super Dumbass is way better than Belfast. But I don't know what to do now. This is pretty bad. Okay. I'm just gonna go along here. You know what? I don't know. See, this is hard. This is really hard because these movies are really not up to par. None of them really deserve to be in a top 10 list of anything, honestly. But regardless, okay, Belfast, it's the same fucking thing I've already seen in every single kids movie I've ever fucking watched. You got a kid, he's different. And then he's got a nice family. And then he's got a crush at school. And he causes a problem at one point. He gets a spanking. And then his parents fight. And then at the end he has to move away. Boo-hoo. I can't believe it makes me shiver and shit fear, shit shock, shit cringe just thinking about putting this movie in a top 10 of anything. Number 7 is Minamata. Oh, guys, this this video is the equivalent of like a hostage video where the person has terrorists behind him holding guns to his head and he's got to say stuff. That's all I'm saying. Like, I thought this list was good. This list is making me so mad. I want to fucking rip this list up into little pieces and then like throw it outside in a rage of anger. So anyways, let's talk about Minamata, okay? At least it's an important movie. Fuck that. Fucking. This is really hard to do this. Minamata. Minamata was a good movie. It was pretty good. It wasn't anything special. It had some great acting, honestly. Okay, this is honest. It had great acting. Johnny Depp did a great job. The movie itself, it was really entertaining, and it was nice to learn about this story. However, this movie was mediocre. The way that it was shot was very stale. It just seemed like they just shot the script. They didn't really add anything to it style-wise. So it came off like a typical, like a TV movie type of thing that they would make about this true story. It's really not good enough to be in anyone's top 10. Super Dumbasses is way better. Sorry. Number 6. Guys, this is torture. This is really bad. Number 6 is Ghostbusters Afterlife. Yay. Wow. This movie, it was a kid's movie, and it was fine. It was just fine. God, this is fucking, I'm really pissed off. Ghostbusters Afterlife. It just copied the past and just shoved it in your face like, hey, remember that, remember that, remember that? And then there were all these plots that didn't go anywhere. There was a lack of new ghosts. I did like Phoebe and Podcast. They were good characters. I liked them. And of course the mom was hot. And then Paul Rudd was good, but then he just gets wasted and they don't even use him. And the movie had a emotional ending, I guess. Just, God. This is killing me. Ow. I just shoved my elbow into something out of frustration. Ow. Ow. That really hurts. Ow. Get away, fuck off, fucking picture frame. This is a nightmare. Number 5 is Psych 3, This Is Gus. Okay, now I will be positive about this one. I will say the first Psych movie was a fucking failure, but it was really funny nonetheless. Psych 2 was complete trash. Psych 2, Lassie Come Home. It was really bad how Gus got this new this new girlfriend who he marries in the movie series and has a kid with. And she is basically like a crazy, insane stalker in the first movie. And then in the second movie, she's less of a stalker. And then in the third movie, it's almost like they're trying to erase the fact that she ever was a crazy person. And I think that's kind of trash. You know, Gus got married to this woman in the show, and the woman that he married in the show is definitely his best love interest. And it's really sad that, you know, he'll never get to be with her again, because her character just fits him so much better. It's not even funny. Regardless, This third movie really improved on the first two films. I really like this movie. Actually, it's not good enough to be in anyone's top 10. And Super Dumbasses is way better. Uh, the movie is really funny all the way through, and I love the music video at the end. It's a very comforting and relaxing like movie, like a chill movie you can watch and feel positive from. Uh, I loved the new character. I can't remember his name though. They added this new character who he was married to Gus's wife before, and I can't remember his name, but he was actually a really funny guy, and I liked his character. But yeah, I really liked how this improved on the first two films. Still, I would say that they should have just continued the show, honestly. Like, I don't see why they had to stop and then make movies. It's really stupid. Number four is a movie that shouldn't even count, honestly. Excuse me. That's what I think of this fucking shitty ass list. Number four is Rocky versus Drago. The Rocky 4 director's cut at number four. Oh, God. I didn't even realize that. That's fucking corny. Put Rocky 4 at number four. Oh. I really wish Safi had done her video today because I hate this list so much. Rocky versus Drago. Wow, it does not deserve to be at number four. That's for damn sure. It doesn't even deserve. Rocky 4 is fine. The director's cut. It's fine. It's a better continuation to Part 3 than the original Part 4 ever was, and that's its biggest advantage. It just fits so much better with Rocky 3 because it actually feels like Apollo Creed's character is respected. You know, in the original Rocky 4, it really pissed me off that they killed off Apollo Creed. But then it's just kind of like his character's gone forever. Whereas in this movie, you can really feel Apollo's influence throughout the movie. And his fight with Ivan Drago is actually the best fight in the movie. And then at the end of the movie, they play Eye of the Tiger, which was probably the best thing in the whole film. It was such a perfect music choice. It actually fit better in this movie than it fit in Rocky 3 to have Eye of the Tiger play right after he defeats Drago. That was really, really cool. And such a better payoff than in Rocky 3, where it's like, you know, didn't they play that like the whole movie over and over again? Ugh. Ugh. Okay, number 3 is Bliss. Bliss is a movie, honestly. God, this is painful. Super Dumbasses is way better than Bliss. That's for damn sure. Okay, Bliss. It's okay. People forgot about this movie existing. It's got great. Owen Wilson is great in it, kinda. It's very entertaining in a somewhat good bad way. There's lots of funny moments that are trying to be like the characters. They have superpowers, and there's all sorts of weird sci-fi stuff. And honestly, this is a better Matrix movie than The Matrix 4. So that's kind of embarrassing. Fuck that fucking Matrix 4. That movie fucking sucked. But this movie, it stayed with me for a long time. It stayed with me for like, I would say, 8 to 9 months. So I will say that. You know, it was an impactful movie. And I loved all these new ideas. And, you know, the guy who made it, he's a huge science fiction fan. And it was cool to see this original science fiction-esque movie. And the ending was really good too. And there was lots of great stuff in it. It's not good enough to be on a top 10 list. And speaking of a movie that doesn't deserve to be on the top 10, number 2 is Licorice Pizza. Oh, I don't know what I was thinking putting this at number 2. Super Dumbasses is way better than Licorice Pizza. That's for damn sure. And it's funny because they both have the same issue. With Licorice Pizza, there's so many people who said that the movie didn't have a script, didn't have a story. With Super Dumbasses, it had the same problem, so I don't know why I didn't consider that. Uh, but I will say that in Licorice Pizza, Gary Hoffman and then Alana, they both gave fantastic performances. Both of their performances were just so good. They worked so well together, acting wise. They really played off of each other. Bradley Cooper gave an Oscar worthy performance. The movie had a ton of laughs. I watched this movie on Christmas Day, and it was a very memorable film to watch on Christmas Day. However, this movie goes nowhere. It hardly does anything the whole film. There's so many moments in the movie where nothing happens. It's just going from one random thing to another random thing, and it's basically all focused on character. And the problem with that is that in this movie, the characters, they're not very likable. Like, I like their performances, but I don't really like the characters. Well, I guess I did like Gary Valentine. I did not like Alana. Uh, but the movie, it's I can't, I did like the fact that it pissed people off, though. There's so many people that got pissed off of this movie, complaining about some of the jokes in it, and then complaining about the pedophilia, as if this is the first movie in history that's ever had pedophilia in it. It's just like it's so pathetic at this point. It's not like the movie glorifies it or anything. But there's been so many movies in the past where you've had movies that are centered around relationships that are not supposed to happen, and then they happen anyway, and then it goes disastrous like in this movie. And so I just don't understand why. And so I love the fact that it pisses people off, because we need more movies that piss people off nowadays, because the thing is, like, we get all these horrible movies. Like last year's movies, all of these movies should have been A pluses, but they're not. These movies are fucking garbage. But the thing is that the reason why we got last year is because of all those disgusting people who are now complaining about Licorice Pizza. Because at a certain point, Hollywood started listening to these losers, and then Hollywood started hiring these losers. And so now, you can't make a comedy anymore because you have to be afraid of all the different types of people who are going to be offended by everything. And so now comedy is dead because you can't make funny jokes anymore. You can't make funny movies. But Licorice Pizza did what the fuck it wanted to do, just like with Super Dumbasses. So with that, I gotta change my mind. This is a last minute thing. I am putting Super Dumbasses in right next to Licorice Pizza. Both of them have the same strengths and weaknesses, and both of them are big fuck yous to SJWs and losers who, they want to ruin movies and television, and then they want to complain about how it's ruined. Like, you notice that? Like, with me, I'll take full accountability and say, like, if I criticize something too hard, I critiqued it too hard, and then I'll say that. And then I'll go back on things that I've said because I'll change my mind. But then with these fucking weirdos, they don't care. They want to make everyone as miserable as they are. They want everyone to live in a state of misery for their life. They want people to suffer like they do all the time because they're fucking losers and they suck. Their movies suck. Their TV shows suck. They don't make any money. They're completely unfunny, friendless, relationshipless losers. And I love the fact that there are at least 2 movies last year that I can see, Licorice Pizza and Super Dumbasses, which are movies that said fuck you to those fucking losers on Twitter. Number 1 is another movie that says fuck you to the SJWs on Twitter, and that is Benedetta. And with that, I am proudly crinkling up this list and throwing it the fuck across the room. Number 1 is Benedetta. This movie is a special film. It's a dark film. It's got a lot of comedy. It's got a lot of horror elements as well. I watched this movie. I can't remember. I think I left it off my list. Oh, shit. See, I make a lot of mistakes on this channel. No wonder I'm not at 1,000 subscribers yet. But I watched this movie called The Bloody Judge. And it was a 1970s Italian exploitation film starring Christopher Lee. And it was terrible. But this Benedetta movie is basically taking that genre of 1970s exploitation and improving on it by adding depth, character, emotion. The characters in this movie are fucking great. Great characters. There's so much great dark humor like that. I'm not going to talk about that moment, but there's all these nightmare visions that are straight out of A Clockwork Orange type of thing. Remember the fantasy scenes in A Clockwork Orange? And then the ending of this movie is fucking amazing. It's such a satisfying payoff to see these evil, religious, powerful figures get fucking destroyed by the town. The town is like, you know what? You're not gonna torture this innocent woman and do this bullshit and spread your bullshit to our town. And then they just say fuck it and they start stoning everyone to death. And that was awesome. I was wanting to clap because I was so happy to see those fuckers get what they deserved. And then the Mother Superior, the old one, she had the plague and then she spreads it to the main religious guy. And I was like, yeah, fuck that guy up. That was awesome. But the characters in this movie were so good. Like the main character, Benedetta, she was a really cool anti-hero because on one hand, you don't know if she's real or she's faking it. And then at the end you find out it was fake, but still it's very questionable, and it leaves you on a very satisfying note, on at the same time a very open-ended and mysterious note where they say that the plague completely skipped this town that the movie took place in, which is fucking badass because she actually said that would happen, and so we don't even know if it's because of her or not. And then also, we don't know what happens to her love interest in the movie at the end. She's just there, and we don't know what happens to her, so there's some mystery. But this was a really good movie. It was a solid movie. The music was phenomenal. Definitely the best music of the year. The music was like, it was like straight out of Skyrim. And yeah, in general, I love this movie. It definitely deserves to be on a top 10 list of the year. And it is better than Super Dumbasses. So see, there you go. It just takes one good movie. That just shows how bad the movies are from last year. Because if those other movies on this list were good enough, I wouldn't have been able to say that. Like, oh, Super Dumbasses is better. So anyways, yet another disastrous list video. Please like this video, comment, and tell me about your top 10 of 2021, if you even have one, because last year's movies were so bad, and this year's movies, I mean, we already got off to a fucking all-female propaganda spy movie, which, oh god, I hope this year's movies are somewhat better at least, or else we are in for another bad series of list videos where they're really unsatisfying to listen to. And then please subscribe to our channel. And that's it. Goodbye, everybody. See you soon.